to figure out your part.
Everyone plays a piece, and there are melodies. Each one of us, oh, it's glorious.
There are times when you might feel aimless.
Hi everyone. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Journey to Zoe. It's good to see all of you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is Journey to Zoe. This is a faith-based channel where I do many different things. I talk about my journey as a Christian with Christ, and you know, the ups, the downs. I do vlogs, and we just go through this journey together. So if you guys couldn't tell, my intro today was a bit different. Lately I have been meditating on, you know, the goodness of God in my life. I have reminded myself how important it is. Sorry, there's something in my eye. See, this is what happens when you get lash extensions at any given time. It can just enter your eye. Anyway, I was thinking about, you know, oh my goodness, the little things that we take for granted, the little moments of happiness, the little bursts of happiness, the little bursts of laughter, the dancing, the singing. Okay, so I just wanted to give a word of encouragement today, because I feel like life comes in different seasons, right? Like even the Bible says in Ecclesiastes that there is a time and season for everything under the sun. I've come to understand that the way the devil tries to attack many of us, like, it's different. It's different for each person. And I think he tries to attack people in ways that affect their gifts, or he tries to affect people using their gifts, if that makes sense. So for example, I believe the gifts, one of them at least, the gifts that God has given me is the gift of being, you know, vibrant and being, you know, extroverted, and I love to make people happy, and I love bringing light to the room, and I know that God has placed that in me. So when I suddenly start to pull back and become very introverted, I can be introverted sometimes, but there's an extreme where I don't normally go to. And so when I do go to that place, it's very strange for me because it's not who God created me to be. And I realized that the enemy gets to you quicker when you pull yourself and you isolate yourself from people around you. That is the quickest way for the enemy to get to you. I went through a period in time where I unconsciously started to pull myself away from a lot of people. I was pulling myself away, and thank God that it didn't go on for very long. And thank God that I'm surrounded by people who know me. And I think in that point in time when I was trying to pull away, not knowing even why I was pulling away, they were like coming closer, and they were surrounding me. And I don't think they even noticed that that's what I needed in that time, but I think it was all God orchestrated. But I did realize that, it is so important to surround yourself with that community. Like, yes, your family, surround yourself with like-minded people, like-minded Christians, because there are some times where you just need help, and you need the love, and you need the strength of others around you. And I believe, you know, there are so many people, like I can think about my life, and I can think of so many strong people of God that I've got surrounding me. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, if I cut myself off from all these people, how easy would it be for me to, number one, get into a very dark place, and number two, be so open to the enemy, like just bait. And it reminded me of the story of Elijah. There was a time where Elijah, if you don't know the prophet Elijah in the Bible, he's this guy, right? He's this prophet. And this guy is so, oh my goodness. He just, you know those people that just walk into a room and they're just like, boom, like I'm here. That's what Elijah seems like to me. And so there was a part where the people were serving another god, Baal. And, you know, Elijah was like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's do a showdown. Let's see whose God is actually real and whose God isn't, right? And the whole time, he obviously knew that our God was the real one. You know what I mean? Anyway, so long story short, the prophets of the other god, like, they do their whole showdown. They were cutting themselves. They were crying. They were offering themselves as sacrifices, all so that fire would come down. So the thing was to see which god would bring fire down. And they did everything, and they were exhausted and they were tired. And all Elijah did, he did like just a few steps, I think, and then he just prayed, and then boom, fire came down. Fire came down just like that. Like, Elijah was that kind of guy, right? And he had all of the false prophets killed, like all of them. And so this queen, her name is Jezebel, and her husband was the king. And her husband runs home and tells Jezebel, oh my goodness, look at what this guy did. This guy did da 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 da. And Jezebel was livid, right? Now keep in mind that Elijah just defeated over like 100 false prophets, right? With God on his side. I mean, let's switch that around. God defeated these people using Elijah, right? The king tells Jezebel, his wife, oh, this is what Elijah did. And Jezebel sends a messenger, and he sends it to Elijah, and he says, you know, may the gods do this same thing to me if by tomorrow you don't end up like them. Like, you don't end up like the people that are dead. And tell me why big man Elijah, he was afraid. He was afraid. And like, in my head, I was like, how? How are you the same guy? You were not afraid to kill like hundreds of false prophets, but just one person, one queen. They didn't even see face to face. It was a message that she sent. But he was terrified. And you know what? That will happen sometimes in life. Like, I think it just hit him unexpected. And Elijah went into that place of isolation. He ran. And in his head, he thought he was the only prophet left, right? And he didn't even know that God had preserved so many other prophets as well. But that's what I feel like isolation can do to you. It can make you feel as though you're the only one going through that thing. Like, in the whole world, like, I'm the only person who knows how I'm feeling and who can understand the way I'm feeling. And Elijah, you know, got into that dark place, and he told God, he said, kill me now. He said, I don't want to, he said, just kill me now. And you know what? God gave him, I love this story, because God didn't go, nah, get up, you have work to do. You have to do this, you have to do that. No, God didn't do that. Our God is a God of love and compassion, you know? And basically what God did was God sent an angel to him. And Elijah fell asleep under a broom tree. And he sent an angel, and the angel brought food, bread, and water. And he said, and the angel woke him up. And I love to just imagine, like, maybe the angel just like rubbed him a bit on his back. I don't know. But he woke him up and he said, you need to eat. And then so you can rest some more. And he ate and he fell back asleep. Like, what a loving father. I feel like we forget, at least for me, sometimes I forget that God is my father. Because sometimes I think we see God as just only one aspect, like God's supreme. Like, you can't just talk anyhow about God. Like, you can't, God is a God of judgment. God is a God of, you know, but it's like, oh my goodness. God saw that in that moment what Elijah needed was rest, some comfort, some food. Sometimes you just need food. You just need food. But yeah, he slept, and then the angel came again, and he gave him more bread and food, and he said, you're gonna have to eat this because the journey ahead of you is long. And Elijah then ate his food and went on in his journey, and then he encountered Elisha, who was his like second in command, you would say. And I just love that story because you could see two different aspects of Elijah, his humanity. You could see where he isolated himself and all those thoughts, dark thoughts, came to him. And I just think that it's so important that if you haven't already, look around you. Look at your life around you. Thank God for the blessings that you have. Thank God that you can laugh, you can dance, you can speak. I saw a verse the other day, and it was saying a group of believers came around to talk, and God was in their midst. It didn't say they came around to pray, they came around to praise, they came around to talk, and God was in their midst. God is always in our midst. God is always there. Yesterday I was in church, and I remembered. I said, God. But it's like God was showing me a flashback of every incident that I've had in my life. I just imagine, just because we can't see him doesn't mean he's not there. And I just imagined God being there each and every time. The times where I've been crying, the times where I've been happy, the times where I was angry, God was there. And God is there, and he will continue to be there. And this journey to Zoe is not a straight line. It's definitely not, and it has its high points, it has its low points. But you know what? We have a Father that is comforting and loving, and he gets us and he understands us. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, in case there's anyone going through a season right now where they feel alone. Please don't isolate yourself. Pray to God. If you don't have that community, pray to God to give you that community. And I pray that, God remains with all of us and we remain strong in this walk of faith. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.